Story 1. When I'm hungover and I'm talking next level, can't even lay down to sleep it off hungover, my head really pounds. To the point I cannot wish this pain on my worst enemy. My routine for those days is go into the shower with an ice pack on my face, back to scalding hot water. Marinate like this for a few minutes and face the other way with hot water on my face and an ice pack on my neck. Repeat for an hour. By this point, the edible I ate starts to kick in. Go to the couch and sit upright with a TV show on I've seen 100 times on a low volume. Enough to distract me, but low enough so my eyes don't hurt. I will use another ice pack as needed. I order food delivery from McDonald's at this point and drink electrolytes. Pray for relief. Story 2. A Virgin Mary drink works every time. Tomato juice, lemon juice, dash of Worcestershire sauce, dash of Tabasco sauce, salt, pepper, celery stick garnish. Story 3. Before going to bed, eat something and drink water. When you wake up, have some fruit, take a shower, and have a cigarette. Fresh as morning bread, every time. If you can't do the second option, just shower, have some coffee, and your breakfast of choice tends to do it, but the cigarette helps with the eventual nausea and uneasiness. Story 4. Have some soda water or plain water, then purge it all out along with the excess alcohol in your stomach. Next, take a 5-minute shower, starting with hot water and ending with cold water for the last 30 seconds. Then drink a massive glass of cold water with a pinch of pink Himalayan salt to restore your body's electrolytes and help absorb more water for quicker hydration. Add a slice of lemon to help energize. Chew mint gum for the sick feeling in your mouth, or brush your teeth and use mouthwash. Then have some coffee and lay in bed. Hangovers are unpleasant, but if you rest or scroll on your phone after doing all of the above, it generally makes you feel better within an hour or two. Story 5. Eggs and salmon. Obviously, water. They contain the nutrients needed for your body to process alcohol. Eating some eggs always makes me feel better. Salmon does it way better, though. Story 6. An intravenous drip if you have some medical connections. Pedialyte, ibuprofen, and some greasy food for the rest of us. And bong rips, whatever the case, but maybe that's just me. Story 7. Define, cure. If you want to not feel bad, the fastest way is to drink again. If you want to feel better in the long term, then take Excedrin, drink water, and sleep. Story 8. Apparently, it's bungee jumping because of the released adrenaline. A doctor tried multiple times and tried different variations to cure it. I would go with another beer though, fight fire with fire. Story 9. Honestly, a big, cold Gatorade, some warm, decent food, and a cool shower will restore life right into you. However, if those aren't accessible or you're on the go, force yourself to vomit it up and get some cold water and you'll feel better. Story 10. Personally, I believe the best hangover cure starts the night before. Normally, I try to drink a couple of glasses of water before I go to bed. I'm not sure if it works, but I feel like it doesn't hurt starting early to rehydrate. Story 11. Don't drink that much to begin with. But yeah, water or Pedialyte or liquid IV. Before sleeping, water throughout the drinking, ibuprofen or Excedrin when you wake up. Cheeseburger and fries from Five Guys always did it for me. If you're gonna puke, just get it over with and drink more water. Story 12. Water, Gatorade, ibuprofen, multivitamin, acid reflux medication, detox mix, apple cider vinegar, honey, lemon, and cayenne, for example. Bland food you can stomach when you're ready. Story 13. Time is the only cure, but prevention is possible. There are supplement brands that claim to prevent effects, and some actually work. However, the legitimate ones are a little pricey, but they are worth it if you have an important event that you cannot avoid. Story 14. I like to lie down in the bath with a hot shower beating down on me for an hour while I think about changing the way I live my life. I've convinced myself that the water is helping to hydrate me, but it might be a light sauna making me feel a little better or my favorite placebo. Story 15. I will always swear by a Virgin Bloody Mary before going out and just before you go to bed. This has worked for some big benders in New Orleans and at bachelor parties where you know it is going to get out of hand. Story 16. Instead of drinking alcohol, drink yerba mate. That's been my go-to, and I haven't had a hangover in over 2 years and counting. You never have to have another hangover again if you don't want to. Story 17. Swim in a pool and keep an alcoholic drink on the side to return to after completing lengths. After half an hour in the pool, get a bacon and egg roll. Go for a walk to the nearest bar after enjoying the breakfast sensation. Then order a pint of very mild beer or cider and watch the world go by. Story 18. Depending on the hangover, I think the ideal is not to be so impaired that you can't eat or drink before sleeping, especially if you have responsibilities the next day. If you need to work and still have a hangover, ask if you can arrive late, then power through with water and caffeine. It's going to hurt, but I see it as a consequence. Taking blood thinners after liver damage doesn't seem wise unless you're in such a bad state that you can't go to work. Story 19. Water and rest. You feel bad mainly because of dehydration. Alcohol is a diuretic, making you urinate more and expelling more water from your system. So, rehydrating yourself is the key. Drinking a pint of water before going to bed really does make the hangover more manageable. For me personally, if you're in the United Kingdom, you'll know. Ice-cold electrolyte drinks will help because they have electrolytes in them. Story 20. Way back in the day when I was in the military, I had a buddy who was a medical technician. He would start me an intravenous line for fluids and some supplemental oxygen, along with 400 milligrams of ibuprofen, and in 30 minutes I would feel great. Story 21. For me, depending on the amount of alcohol, the type of alcohol, and the success of the night before or the morning of a fat juicy burger, fries, a Coke, and some painkillers followed by a lot of cold water and sleep under air conditioning works the best. Story 22. In college, it was a 64-ounce Sunoco iced tea. I swear it was a magical elixir for any hangover. Plus, they sold single cigarettes, which came in really handy when you were too broke for a pack. Story 23. Depends on the severity. Sometimes you need a greasy cheeseburger and a root beer, or a Coca-Cola Zero and beef taquitos. Other times, you're just going to have to do the hair of the dog. I'm guessing if you're on Reddit right now, it's probably severe. I take a shot or two, laugh out loud. Story 24. Cucumbers are scientifically proven. Before I have a night out, I always have a cucumber in the fridge for breakfast. Also, sparkling water. Try to burp and fart a lot. Story 25. Pickle juice between drinks. Set an alarm to wake you up several hours before you plan on waking up so you can drink some water. When you fully wake up later on, do something small to activate your brain. Story 26. As someone who used to drink 750 milliliters of vodka a week, I will say there is no cure, and the best thing to do is limit your total consumption and drink a glass of water for each glass of beer or shot of liquor. Story 27. I do not drink anymore because of inglorious hangovers. But previously, my go-to was lots of protein, sleep, Excedrin, and fluids. I still felt horrible, but maybe 50% better. Story 28. The best hangover cure does not exist. You can make it less awful by taking some pills to alleviate the symptoms, but the damage is done. You can only try to control the aftermath. Now, the intensity of your hangover is determined before the hangover, the night before. As a 39-year-old man who always liked partying, drinking, and having fun, I've been through the worst hangovers you can think about. After my 30s, I started to see that hangovers tend to get worse and worse as you age, so I started to take some precautions while drinking that absolutely changed my hangovers. Drink water while you are drinking alcohol. The rule is simple. 1 drink, a beer or any other drink, and a cup of water before the next one. Do that the whole night and you'll avoid dehydration, which is one of the causes of hangovers. Keep in mind, cheap beer causes the worst hangovers possible. Drink slowly and eat something while drinking. Don't smoke. Smoking makes hangovers way worse. I won't get into details here, but I was a smoker, and when I quit, one of the first things I experienced was less aggressive hangovers. If you can afford it, drink good quality alcohol. The difference is enormous. When you finish drinking and are going to bed, drink about 1 liter of water and take 1 ibuprofen or aspirin. Don't use paracetamol for hangovers. If you feel nausea, take metoclopramide. Commercial name in the United States is Reglan. Avoid unhealthy food. Your liver is recovering from the alcohol you ingested yesterday. And now you want to make it work even more to digest fatty food? Come on. Avoid light, exercise, and sleep all you can. When we sleep, growth hormones repair a lot in our bodies. Honestly, if you have access to sleeping pills, just hydrate yourself, eat something, take one, and sleep the whole day. Story 29. Wake up, take a piss, drink a pint of electrolytes. Open the window. 30 minutes later, take the best painkillers legally available in your country. Go back to bed. Story 30. I always drink a liter of water before bed when I get home from drinking. I've been drunk enough to pass out and lose memory but never been hungover. Sleep, electrolytes, and something to soak up the alcohol like water to dilute, bready or dry stuff to mop up, before and after sleep. Story 31. Coconut water before you sleep and after if you need. The high potassium content helps push alcohol out of your system faster. Mix with juice if you dislike the taste. Story 32. Back when I used to drink, I would swear by the following. Before bed, take an Alka-Seltzer tablet or a vitamin C tablet in water and eat something. Cucumber is great as it's full of electrolytes. Your brain physically shrinks due to dehydration when hungover. Drink at least 2 pints of water. Take paracetamol in the morning when you first wake up and then fall asleep again. Eat food. Your body is screaming for sustenance. Have a strong coffee. Story 33. The best cure is prevention. Eat a big hearty meal before you drink, and let most of the food make its way out of your stomach before you take your first sips. Then, drink water throughout the night and before bed. If still hungover, follow up with the driest of toast, and then once your stomach settles, a little pickle juice. Story 34. Prairie oyster. An old cocktail recipe that really works if you can get it down your neck. It's basically an egg yolk, still whole, sitting on top of tomato ketchup thinned with good vinegar. I had one after waking up with the famous hangover from hell. An hour later, I was mixing cocktails and back at it. Story 35. As much as it is unpleasant, getting up, moving around, and getting some sun can help. I have laid in bed all day being hungover, and I swear I will still be hungover at 10 p.m. However, if I get up and just walk to the end of my block and back, then drink water, eat something, smoke weed, and go back to sleep, I actually feel fine by the time I wake up. I know that is the last thing on anybody's mind when they are hungover, but getting your blood moving certainly helps. Story 36. Water and orange juice. When you fall asleep, leave them by your bed. Every time you wake up feeling rough, have a swig of both. By morning, you will wake up like any other day. Story 37. Chug a bottle of Pedialyte before bed. Wake up to pee, chug more water and another bottle of Pedialyte if you can before going back to sleep as long as you can. I wish I learned the Pedialyte thing before I was 45. I learned it exactly 7 months before I became soberish. Hardly drink at all these days and don't plan to need it again. But wow, did it work. I hope this helps someone not suffer. Story 38. Asian pear juice before you go drink. Eat carbohydrate-heavy food before. 1 glass of water between every drink. Have a bottle of Pedialyte and a leave ready to go when you get home. Every time you wake up during the night, drink more Pedialyte. When you get up in the morning, eat toast as burnt as you can take it, charcoal. Drink more Pedialyte. Take another Aleve. If you have a hangover after this, you're going to have to question your decisions. Story 39. Eat a good meal before drinking alcohol. Drink water continuously while you are drinking alcohol. Yes, you will pee a lot. It's worth it. You can drink ridiculous quantities of alcohol and feel more or less fine in the morning if you do this. Story 40. 3 things cause hangovers. Dehydration, vitamin deficiency. The liver needs certain vitamins to process alcohol, and exhaustion. Drink water, take a multivitamin, and sleep. Do those things to feel better. Story 41. It's the worst or best answer. Get up and get to the gym. 10 minutes of cardio, 20 minutes of weights, and then sit in the hot tub, wet sauna, dry sauna, and then throw your drinking self into the cold pool. Do the heat and cold thing 3 times. Then eat. Then sleep like a daddy. Story 42. Water. Electrolytes. Vitamin B and C for the nerves. A hearty meal. Before sleeping, if you can hydrate and take a vitamin B pill, you should be good. When I used to drink, my go-to before bed was pineapple juice and a vitamin B complex. I rarely got a hangover after. However, I would wake up and suddenly need to pee, and it would be a lot. Story 43. I just drink water through the night and a huge glass of an electrolyte drink before bed. Pretty much prevents hangovers unless you were extremely drunk. Once I have the hangover, there isn't much I can do since I tend to just throw up anything I eat or drink for a few hours. A cold pack helps with headaches. Story 44. Heading back to the pub at dinner time, laugh out loud. No, plenty of water and flat Coca-Cola. Good for electrolytes. I heard taking vitamin B12 before a good session helps too. But don't quote me. Story 45. Just from my personal experience, this seems to work relatively well. While you're drinking, sip a zero-calorie or sugar-free sports drink like Powerade Zero or Gatorade Zero right up until you go to bed. When you wake up, finish the sports drink if you still have some. If not, drink some water. Optional. Engage in personal relief. Oddly, my morning bowel movement also helps. Take a hot shower, and I mean hot. You need to sweat it out. Brush your teeth and use some mouthwash. It might be the slightest bit of alcohol since most mouthwashes contain it, but I'm not sure. Have a greasy or hearty breakfast. Eggs, bacon, sausage, potatoes, or any greasy leftovers from the night before such as pizza, chicken, or hamburgers. After all that, I'm about 75% of the way back unless a 2 to 3 p.m. power nap knocks me out, but after that, it's like nothing happened.